Gather everybody.
All right, we're gonna need to resume in a second, the trial. So if everyone can take their seats. I think the children are ready to be, again, children, getting to be young adults almost at this point. All right. Do we have everyone back? Almost everybody back.
All rise. The 248th District Court of Philadelphia County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Tim Taft presiding.
Please be seated. So we'll now hear the case of Commonwealth versus Zilius. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Okay. I'll remind the jury that the Commonwealth has the burden of proving the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt as to each element of reckless homicide. Now, I think we're ready to begin. As we did last time, though, allow me to have the lawyers introduce themselves, starting with the prosecution.
I'm Jordan Marshbach, and I will be doing direct examination for Emerson Trenkin.
Your Honor, my name is Lily Jungblatt, and I will be making the opening statement and cross-examining Micah.
Your Honor, my name is Emma Portilla. I will be making the closing statement, and I will be cross-examining Hayden Zilius.
Your Honor, my name is Carly Haston, and I will be direct examining London Packard and cross-examining Rayston.
Defense?
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Gabrielle Carrico. I will be delivering the opening statement as well as cross-examining London Packard. May I present my co-counsel? I am Evelyn Peak. I will be performing the direct examination of Hayden Zilius and closing argument.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Rowan Kindle. I'll be presenting the direct examination of Micah Stratton and the cross-examination of Emerson Turchin.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Rebecca Clayton, and I will be performing the direct examination of Lee Stanley.
Okay. So are the parties ready to proceed? Commonwealth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so, who's the defendant in this case? Mr. Zilius? How do you plead to the offense of reckless homicide, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
You may be seated. We'll now hear the opening statements, hearing from the prosecution first.
Your Honor, this trial is more than a careless woman that recklessly stole the lives of two individuals and ravaged the lives of countless more. This trial is about the sanctity of life, the value of a person, and the importance of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the foundation for which this very country was founded on. That's why myself, Lily Jungblatt, and my team, Emma Portilla, Carly Haston, and Jonah Morsbauer, are committed to maintaining the sanctity, value, and importance of life. On August 31st, 2012, the city of Philadelphia was struck by tragedy amidst the remnants of Hurricane Isaac. In the midst of the chaos, the Franklin Streets Project, once hailed as a beacon of urban renewal, descended into a scene of devastation and loss. The collapse of Fightonville, the largest crane on the East Coast, claimed the lives of Artie Dipp, a squatter who had made his home in the trench, and Grace Hopper, a federal construction official. What was meant to be a symbol of progress in modern urban planning became one of the city's most heartbreaking tragedies. Today, Hayden Zilius stands before you, once hailed as a hero for spearheading the Franklin Streets Project, now faced with charges of murder. The prosecution contends that Zilius' relentless pursuit of project completion, driven by financial deadlines and political pressures, led to a reckless disregard for human life. As the project faced mounting delays and construction challenges, Zillius' obsession with meeting deadlines became increasingly apparent. Concerns raised by workers and squatters alike fell on deaf ears as Zillius pressed forward, pushing the project team to their limits. Workers were forced into hazardous conditions, and tensions between the project team and squatters reached a boiling point. On the day of the tragedy, as Hurricane Isaac battered the region, Zillius made the fateful decision to proceed with the lift of the overweight roof panels. Despite the chaos and confusion engulfing the worksite, in doing so, the prosecution argues Zillius displayed callous indifference to the safety of those involved, ultimately leading to the collapse of Fightonville and the loss of 2 lives. Throughout this trial, you will hear from witnesses who will testify to Zillius' singular focus on project completion at any cost. Emerson Turkin, the construction site supervisor, will provide insight into the chaotic conditions at Franklin's Trench. London Packard, the leader of the squatters, will shed light on the desperation felt by those living in the trench. Now, the defense may attempt to paint a different picture, but the evidence will show that Zillius' actions directly contribute to the deaths of Artie Dent and Grace Hogger. The prosecution urges you to carefully consider the facts presented in this case and deliver justice to the victim of Fightonville's fall. As you weigh the evidence and consider the testimony of witnesses, I ask that you keep in mind the lives lost and the families forever impacted by this tragic event. Your duties as jurors is to seek the truth and deliver justice. I trust that you will fulfill this solemn responsibility with diligence and integrity. I plead for the court to find Tatum Zillius guilty of third-degree murder.
Thank you, counsel. Now we'll hear from the defense. And please remember, counsel, to try to get very close to the microphone so that everyone can hear.
May it please the court. Your Honor and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Gabrielle Kirko, and I will be delivering the opening remarks for the defense today. On behalf of my co-counsel, Evelyn Peake, Rowan Kendall, and Rebecca Clayton. Tatum Zillius grew up as a poor child. His goal as an adult was to create affordable housing so other children would not have to go through the stress of living on the dangerous streets of Philadelphia. His dream was to not only create a safe living environment, but also an environmentally friendly housing system. Zillius bought Franklin's Trench, a 50-foot deep, useless gash in the middle of the city of Philadelphia. Zillius hired the best of the best to work on his project. One of those key players was Emerson Turkin, someone who could get things done because they understood the regulations. Zillius firmly believed that to complete this project, he would need the best crane operator on the East Coast, which was Micah Stratton, with over 30 years of experience. Zillius was highly disappointed with his crew when in January 2012 he visited the site and the foundation was barely laid. As he talked over the issue with Emerson Turkin, Emerson blamed the delay on the local squatters. The issue which is before us today is that unfortunately 2 lives were lost in a tragic accident that should have never have happened. Tatum Zillius may be known for his fast-paced method and his high-tempered attitude. However, this does not mean his actions were done in malice. The state of Pennsylvania defines malice as wickedness of disposition, hardness of heart, cruelty, recklessness of consequences, and a mind regardless of social duty. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today we prove that Tatum Zillius did not possess malice. As I stated before, Zillius hired the best workers for his project. One of those influential workers was Emerson Turkin. Emerson had one job, to make sure that the lift and the workers were safe, but he started a feud with the squatters, which led to retaliation, making the site dangerous. Especially because there was a mentally ill squatter, already dead, running around. Zillius put up a fence for safety reasons, but Mr. Denton knew the site better than anyone else and was able to sabotage it without being seen. It did not help the matter that the reporter, Reese Denton, was assisting Mr. Denton in his attempts of sabotage. Our evidence would prove that Tatum Zillius is innocent due to the fact that Reese Denton set up Mr. Denton with the supplies he needed to sabotage the site, making it an unsafe environment for the construction work. London Packard, a resident of the Trench, realized that Reese didn't care about the squatters and that she was only there for a juicy story. A second trusted employee was Micah Stratton, who had one job, to give honest advice about the lift. Zillius had asked Micah if Fightonville could lift the panels, and Micah had stated that the crane could definitely handle the load. This gave Zillius full confidence in the fact that Phil could lift the panels, even though they were heavier than expected. On the day of the lift, Grace called Micah with a huge concern if the crane could take the load and the wind all at the same time. Micah responded to a call that Phil was within 100% of the tolerancy. But was this true? No, it was not. In Micah's statement, he stated that it was partially true. We anticipate that the prosecution may argue that Ziz did indeed have malice because he did not care about people's feelings, he only cared about the retirement money, he could care less about the squatters' lives, and his whole goal was to meet the deadline despite people getting hurt. Contrary to these arguments, Tatum Zillies is none of these crude things. However, he is an upstanding citizen because of his compassion and relation to all of the homeless squatters in Philly. Tatum Zillies is making 100% sustainable housing, but we can all agree that there is no malice in that. The city of Philadelphia is lucky to have Zillies' strong, real, proud heart, trying his best to make this city a better place for all of us. The state has not met its burden of proof, and we ask for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. We'll now hear from the prosecution. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please call your first.
Your Honor, I would now like to call Ms. London Packard to the stand.
And I'd like to address the witnesses as well after you're sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please use the microphone and hold it up close to your mouth so that everyone can hear your testimony.
Please state your name for the court.
My name is London Packard.
Ms. Packard, when did you find Franklin's trench?
1975.
And what was the trench like?
It was heaven. There was shelter, cover, there was warmth, there was even clean water.
I see. And when did Miss Zillius move the crane in?
Summer of 2011.
What was your response to this?
I immediately called a meeting with all the squatters and told them what was happening.
And how did your fellow trenchers take this hard news?
They took it hard. Most felt that they had to leave their home.
Could you tell us about Mr. Artie Dent?
He was by far the strangest resident of the
I see. Did he feel like he had to leave his home?
No, me and Artie were the only two that felt that we could help.
I see. Who is Reese Dentner?
He was a reporter. At first I felt that she could help us, but I eventually realized that she was just using us.
Interesting. In your statement, you mentioned something about a meeting with Miss Zillius. Could you tell us about that?
The reporter told us that she could have us sit down with Emerson, but she eventually turned into Emerson Turpin.
Interesting. What happened whenever you suggested your ideas to Emerson Turkin?
Totally blew up in my face.
Wow. What happened when Miss Zillius visited the site?
Accidents definitely increased. Safety checks were cut.
I see. And what happened after she sped things up versus before?
Accidents definitely increased. I watched as workers hurt their hands, smashed their bodies, foots were run over, people were almost electrocuted, and I even watched as a ladder fell out from under one person. Then Zillius continued to order someone else to climb that exact same ladder.
Wow. What happened on August 24th?
I found a letter in a trash. It was from the city inspector, and it clearly stated that the lift was not approved. Yet Zillius continued to ignore the letter and continue with the lift anyways.
What was the weather like on August 31st?
It was rainy and windy. During the first lift, the first panel was literally twisting in the wind.
I see. Could you tell us about Miss Zillius and the government agent's interaction?
Zillius came storming down, yelled at Grace, snatched the flag from her, and waved it towards the crane.
I see. When did you last see Mr. Artington?
I last saw Artie when he was near the crane. His hands were raised and his trench coat was blowing in the wind. I will never get to see my friend again because of Zillius' recklessness.
I'm sorry, Miss London. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
once lived in the trench, didn't he?
Yes.
Apart from of your land, Zilius was leaving you completely alone, wasn't he?
Yes.
Wasn't Zilius trying to help you by giving you public housing?
Yes.
Was Artie Dent supposed to be on medication for mental health?
Yes.
He didn't take them because he thought the plot was out to get him, correct?
Yes.
How often did Mr. Dent take his medication for mental health?
Rarely.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is not leading the witness on a cross-examination.
Is not leading what witness?
Correct.
Your Honor, that's not valid. You can use either leading or open-end questions in a cross-examination.
That objection is overruled. You may proceed.
What things did Artie take from the work site?
He took a wrench.
Mr. Dent caused many safety issues, didn't he?
Yes.
Didn't Mr. Dent want to stop construction by killing himself because he found it more dramatic?
Yes.
Artie was tampering with the site, was he? No, excuse me. Artie was tampering with the site, correct?
Yes.
You were aware of this tampering?
I was.
And you did not do anything to stop it?
No.
Did the squatters stop sabotaging after the fence was put up?
Only Artie did.
What was Operation Totem?
It was the operation that Artie founded.
Did you see Mr. Dent by the crane site on August 31st?
Yes.
After the crash, you went through his belongings, correct?
Yes.
You found a letter then, correct?
Yes.
Who was the envelope addressed to?
Reese Detmer.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Please identify this.
This was Artie's master plan.
What was the purpose of Reese receiving it?
I'm not sure.
Counsel, did you want to introduce that into evidence?
Oh, yes. Evanson.
You'll need to tender it to opposing counsel. Is that defendant's number one?
Yes.
Will there be any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Defendant's exhibit number one, the master plan will be admitted. You may proceed.
Doesn't this show that he was willing to sacrifice himself to stop Project Z, so he sabotaged it with a wrench?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may stand down. May I have the exhibit?
There's two.
Pardon?
There's two.
I'll take both. Will you call your next?
Your Honor, I would like to call Emerson Turnkin to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And once again, I want to remind lawyers and witnesses that you'll hold that microphone up or stand close to it so everyone can hear.
State your name for the court.
My name is Emerson Turkin, and for short.
What is your education?
I have a degree in construction management from Penn State University
How long have you been working on construction sites?
for 30 years.
And what was your record like?
It was pristine,
What was Zilius' record?
quite the opposite. He had a policy where speed meant profit.
Objection, Your Honor, assumes facts that are not evidence, or lack of personal knowledge.
Will there be a response?
That is in his witness statement.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
What did Zilius promise you as project manager?
He promised me full control over the site,
And how long did you spend on safety suits a day as project manager?
at least 2 hours.
When you were doing the 2-hour safety suites, what kind of injuries happened, if there were any?
Barely any. Maybe a stub toe.
What happened on January 10th, 2012?
Zilius went on a tirade.
And after this tirade, what did he do?
He took control over the site.
What did he say about people getting hurt?
He said that we can pay for that. We can pay for anything except time.
What did Zilius do with your safety checks?
He kept cutting them and cutting them and cutting them.
What did Zilius start doing to speed up the work site?
He added mandatory overtime and multiple shifts.
What happened to the workers that didn't work overtime?
They didn't last long.
How many more accidents happened after this happened?
Increased tenfold.
Did Zilius care?
No.
What news did you receive in April?
I received that that there was a hurricane. No, that the weather was going to be bad.
Objection, Your Honor. Since facts not evidence, he did not learn of the weather.
Yeah, could you repeat that objection?
Seems facts not evidence.
Is there any response? Comment?
No, Your Honor.
I'll sustain that objection. You may continue, please.
How much heavier were the cranes, or how much heavier were the panels over the crane's max load?
200 tons.
What was Stratton's response to this news?
They thought it would be okay.
So who did you tell him to sort it out with?
Tatum Zilius.
What happened after that?
They got permission.
Who approved Micah to lift?
Tatum Zilius.
And who has the power to approve the lift?
This city.
Okay, who did Zilius get permission from?
He did not.
But who did he get permission from?
That is, I do not know.
Objection, non-responsive.
Is there a response?
He was flustered and trying to figure out the answer.
I'm not going to sustain the objection. You may continue.
Okay, what do you think about them lifting?
I thought that it would be dangerous.
Objection, Your Honor, opinion. The witness is not expert.
Is there a response?
I'm not asking if the lift was dangerous. I'm asking about what he thought about the lift.
Yes, you're asking for an expert opinion. So that would be sustained.
Okay. Why did you think that it was? Why did you think that it was a bad idea for them to lift?
I do not know.
Objection, non-responsive answer.
I'm going to overrule that. You left your objection's too late. It's already been answered.
Okay, what did Zilius ask you in early August?
I do not know.
Okay, that's all, Your Honor.
Will there be cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please proceed.
Emerson, your job was to manage safety, wasn't it?
Indeed.
And on the day of the lift, your crew completed all the necessary safety sweeps, is that right?
No.
Your Honor, may I please approach the witness?
You may.
Can you please identify this document?
This is my witness statement.
Your Honor, may I please first for the council?
Is that defendant's number 2?
I believe so, yes.
Huh?
May I please give this to
You
your
may.
prosecution?
Just me.
Would there be any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Defendant's exhibit 2 is admitted. You may proceed.
On this exhibit, does it say that you completed all the necessary safety sweeps?
Yes.
So, on the day of the lift, your crew completed all the necessary safety sweeps, right?
Yes.
Was Ilias working hard to meet the deadlines?
Yes.
And Zilius was so determined that he stayed on site 24/7, is that correct?
He did.
Let's talk about the squatters a little bit. Did Zilius put up a fence to keep out the squatters?
Yes, he did.
And on the day of the lift, you saw a squatter near the crane, correct?
Yes, I did.
And did you pause the lift to ensure that it was safe?
No, I did not.
Can you please read the part where it talks about the squatter being seen?
I thought I saw a squatter poking around fighting Phil. However, when I got down there, no one was there. I took a look at the mooring, and the machine and everything looked to be in.
Okay, that's all. Did the squatters slow down the site with vandalism and delays?
Yes, indeed, they did.
Your Honor, I'd like to approach the witness. Can you please identify this document?
This is the construction state drawing of Franklin's Trench.
May I please show this document to the prosecution?
Yes, please. Defendant's number 3.
Yes, sir.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Defendant's exhibit 3 will be admitted.
Is this an accurate depiction of Franklin's Trench?
Yes.
And as an expert in your field, would you agree that this layout makes it easy for squatters to access the site?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is asking for opinion.
That's overruled. He's an expert. You may proceed.
As an expert in your field, would you agree this layout makes it easy for squatters to access the site?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may stand down. Prosecution. Call you next.
We have no other witnesses, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution rest at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, defense, you may proceed.
Prosecution would like to call to the stand Reese Stentner.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Would you please introduce yourself to the court and tell us your profession?
My name is Reese Tenner, and I'm a reporter.
And what do you do as a reporter?
It's my job to comfort the afflicted, afflict the comfortable, and overall sell coffee doing it. But the bottom line is, I'm a finder of truth and a teller of tales.
How did you first get involved with Mr. Zelius and his project?
I always keep my eyes open for newsworthy happenings in the city, and when I learned of Project Z, It sounded like it had some good story potential.
And why is that?
Because there was a large homeless population living there, and they were the perfect sources for the article I was going to write.
And did you write an article about Project See It and the people living at Franklin's Trench?
Objection, Your Honor, leading question.
Is there a response?
She's just making sure that she wrote an article. It's not.
I'm going to sustain that objection. You may rephrase the question.
What did you write about Franklin's Trench and the people living there?
I wrote an article that appeared in Philly.com on August 31st.
And what do you know about Emerson Turnkin's treatment of the squatters?
Well, I talk about it in the first paragraph of the second page of my article.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, it's the article I wrote.
Is that Defendant's Exhibit 4, counsel?
Yes, it is. May I enter this to the opposing counsel?
Yes. Will there be any objection from the Commonwealth?
No, Your Honor.
Defendant 4 will be admitted. You may proceed, counsel.
Okay, would you please read the paragraph that you referenced earlier? Starting with the third sentence to the end of the paragraph?
He would not even stop the construction activities long enough to let the trenchers come or go from the main entrance to their home in the early morning and late evening, letting work continue while they skittered around the site seeking cover in clear violation of OCIS regulations.
Thank you. Would you describe Artie Dent to us?
Mr. Dent interested me the most. He was obsessed with stopping the project so that the trenchers could keep their home at Franklin's Trench.
And did Artie Dent do anything else to threaten Project C?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, leading question.
Is there a response?
No, Your Honor.
I don't think it's needed, so I'll overrule it.
And,
You may repeat the question.
and what else did Artie Dent do to threaten Project C?
He had a master plan to stop it.
And how did you know about this master plan?
He had addressed it to me in an envelope, which his friend London Packard gave to me after the train collapsed.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, it's Artie's manifesto.
Is that Defendant's number 5, counsel?
Yes.
No, sir. It's number 1.
Number 1? Thank you. That's already in evidence.
Will you read to the jury what Artie was determined to do?
The power of people so downtrodden that there is nowhere to go but up. This wrench in the works will allow me to rage against the alien machine. The answer is simple. A trench coat martyr, blood that will forever stain this strained project, a spot that can never be washed out, a mark on what will always be home to the trenchers of Franklin.
All right, moving backward now. What happened in January of 2012?
That's when Zilius took charge of the job site.
And what actions did Zilius take after that?
He put up a fence and he started a second shift.
Are there any other notable events that happened around that time?
Yes, there were a couple.
And could you describe those to us?
Well, I was in a perch nearby listening with my long-range microphone, and I caught a bit of conversation between Zilius and Emerson Turnkin. Zilius said something about time being invaluable and how they could pay through injuries, and how injuries could be taken care of through funding.
And were there any injuries on site?
Yes, there were a few, almost all minor stuff, and a couple people decided to fake them just to get the workers' compensation, but Zilius paid them anyway.
And were you present at the job site on August 31st?
Yes, I was. I got to the site a little afternoon.
And what did you see?
I saw Ari in his trench coats at the edge of the fence staring at Fight and Phil.
What was Mr. Dent doing?
He had his hands up and he looked like he was praying, but by the time I got down there, he was gone.
And during the lift, did you see how Mr. Dent left the area?
No, there were a million ways in and out of the site, so I don't know.
And during the lift, did you notice anything about the crane?
I heard metal straining.
And what did you do after that?
I tried to get some on-the-ground information, but I only picked up a fragment of a conversation between Grace Hopper and Zilius.